y'all have to go watch this movie called Civil War. The symbolism in this movie and the hidden messages in this movie, if your third eye is open, it's gonna blow your mind, especially what happens at the end. And yes, I do give spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know what to tell you. But basically, the movie starts off and it's like, this war going on. And there's this journalist, Kirsten Dunst, the one that played in that trilogy movie a long time ago. Anyways, Kirsten Dunst was the journalist, and she was just capturing all the images of the Civil War. The Civil War that was happening was within the United States. And when I say that, like, citizens were being unalived, and there were patriots asking people where they were from. If they weren't from the right place, then they got unalived. If you were from anywhere outside of the country, you were unalived. If you were from the wrong state, you were unalived. And so, also in the beginning of the movie, there was this younger girl, like a younger version of Kirsten Dunst, except she had black hair. And she was aspiring to be a journalist also. So she wanted to go along for the ride because they were going to Washington, D.C. So in the car, in the driver's seat, was a narcissistic man. Maybe in about his 40s. Then you had Kirsten Dunst, who was the main journalist and one of the main characters. Then you had an older guy that he looked Indian to me. Honestly, he looked like an Indian, but not like the Indians you think. It looks like looks like my complexion with cotton hair, but I could just tell that he was Indian. So boom. The younger girl, she was never supposed to even be coming in the first place, but she stalked Kirsten Dunst because Kirsten, in the beginning of the movie, saved her life and gave her, the journals, because the journalists, they were not being unalived. They let the journalists do their jobs throughout the whole movie. She wasn't supposed to go along for the ride. And then the elder, the wise one, the Indian, he was like, she wanted to go to D.C. to capture what was happening in D.C. because they was trying to take down the president. He was like, no, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Like, you don't want to do this. Like, it's a death trap. Don't do it. But she, being a journalist, she wanted to be, like, right there. She wanted to catch everything. So she was like, look, I'm going with or without y'all. So the elder, I guess he had known her from a little child, from a baby. So he was like, you know what? Skip it. Okay, I'm going. Well, the younger journalist chick or whatever, she ended up talking the narcissistic driver into letting her come along for the ride. I'm sorry if I'm a bad storyteller, but I'm trying to, like, get y'all to understand, like, this movie is deep. So they began traveling and they began seeing things along the way that were really intriguing and disturbing. To try to make a long story short, because we already 3 minutes in, they finally make it to Washington, D.C. And it wasn't easy. It was some shady stuff going on in between scenes and everything like that. The elder ended up getting killed, saving the two journalists because they wanted to stop. They seen a bunch of dead bodies on the truck, and they were civilians, and they wanted to stop and take pictures. But these patriots, they was out for blood. The elder was like, "Don't. This is a death trap. We cannot do this. Like, don't go." But he ended up saving Kirsten Dunst, the other journalist, and the narcissistic dude. He pulled up in the car, but the patriots, they ended up shooting at the car. So the Indian got shot. He died. It was 4 of them all together. Then it was down to 3. So it was the 2 white girls and the white narcissistic man. Well, I don't think he was white, to be honest, but he could have been Italian or something. I don't know. But anyways, they make it to D.C. When they get to D.C., like, shit was popping. Like, it was the war. It was like, it was so bad. They had the White House surrounded, and the mission and the goal was to assassinate the president. And so, of course, them being journalists, they wanted to be right there on the front lines. They wanted to capture the moment of, the unaliving, basically. And so they were watching the White House at the same time, trying to avoid being bombed and blown up themselves. So the young bobblehead white girl that was you know, journalist or whatever, she started, like, along the way, she started to really, like, you know, get some character. And at first she was all giddy and all, like, sweet and innocent, but as time went on, the more she was exposed to the unalivings and the more she was exposed to the gore, the more she just, you know, captured these images, the more she pumped herself up to just, you know, be a journalist. And let me say this, I think it's also symbolic and crazy how the Indian man ends up dying first. All of this is taking place inside of the United States, but I want to point that out. The Indian man dies first. So once inside the White House, the military, the U.S. military was inside the White House. Our military was trying to assassinate the president, and that was so crazy to me because I was like, our own military is trying to assassinate the president. I didn't get that. I didn't get it until the very end of the movie, and we're gonna get there. So they were going from room to room, and you know, people were basically sacrificing themselves for the president, and then they finally caught the president, and you know, they was like, "Do you have any last words?" And the president was laying on the floor and was like, "Please don't kill me." And then the person holding the gun was like, "Perfect." And then, boom, unalived him. I missed out a whole part, y'all. Kirsten Dunst ended up getting killed by the young journalist chick because she got her killed because, you know, the military was like, fall back, fall back, fall back. And it was like trying to, you know, lead everybody the way, but she wasn't listening. And so Kirsten Dunst died saving the young girl who she didn't even want to bring along in the first place. She already saved her life once in the beginning of the movie. So she died, and the journalist chick captured the moment of her death, which was crazy to me. So she looked back at her on the ground, and I guess she felt like okay, I need to finish her job. I don't want this to be in vain. I need to finish her job. So back to them finding the president. So it's down to two now. It's down to the Italian-looking narcissistic dude, and it's down to the younger white chick that was, you know, not even supposed to be there in the first place. They're in the room along with military, and the president gets unalived, and the person that did it was either a black man or a black woman, but they were both military. So I thought that was very crazy and symbolic. Also, when the younger journalist chick captured that moment that they were supposed to capture, the moment of impact, my screen just stopped and landed on the screen, and what I saw tripped me out. I saw the black man and the black man and the black woman, they were holding guns. They were the ones that actually assassinated the president. Then I saw what looked like a Chinese guy. I saw what looked like a Mexican, and I saw what looked like, I don't want to say Russian. I don't know what the other nationality was, but they ended up becoming a superpower after they took down the president of the United States. That's what I got from that picture at the end of the movie. So yeah, y'all, I know that was a lot, but y'all gotta, you know, go see that movie for yourself. Y'all have to, it came out in 2024, and y'all need to go see that movie. Y'all need to watch it. Y'all need to pull it up on your TV and watch that movie, because like, it seemed like that's where we're going to. That's where we're headed. And I don't want to be here for that shit. I want to get the fuck out of Dodge, because that's where we're going. We're headed towards a civil war. That's what they want. The end result is going to not be good. The same president said, "Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath." These are not my words. These are words that I'm quoting. So, yeah, watch Civil War. It's a damn good movie.